Hi everyone, it's Shap. Thank you so much for checking out my channel on YouTube and Spotify. Really appreciate it. This is Cutting the Crap with Shap. The video that I am sharing that you're going to see after this is my 3:15 to 4 a.m. Friday morning, getting ready to try to make weight for my competition on Saturday. It explains everything. It is called Effing Stupid. You'll understand why after you watch the video. I think there's so much to take away from this, whether or not you're in fitness or whatever you do. I really think it's an incredibly critical message for anybody. So hopefully you'll like it, share it out. Following this video, I'm going to do the video of the meet, do all my lifts, explain the whole process. And again, even if you're not into lifting, I do think that what I'm saying will really be a powerful message no matter who you are. So with that said, you're going to be seeing my video. I hope you like it. Please share it out. Thanks again for all you do. I appreciate the support. Have a great day. Hi, everyone. It's Shap. Thanks so much for checking out my channel and things. I appreciate it. So I wasn't sure what to call this video, but I guess for lack of a better word, I'll say effing stupid. So I'm actually the morning of when I have to weigh in for my competition. And when I started, I was about around 164 or so. Somewhere around that range, which is definitely a little bit heavy for me. You know, not something I usually walk around at. I usually walk around at, say, 160, 161. So to give you a little bit of a journey of it. So I started, working on my weight and slowly got down to about 160, 159. And the last couple weeks have been really, really tough. Harder than the last time I competed. Last time I competed, I got right down to the weight. In the morning of the competition, the morning of the weigh-ins, and I was right on it. Ended up competing really, really well. I was really happy. And this time, give you an idea, right now it's 4:05 in the morning, and I'm trying to burn off these last few pounds. I was actually here at 3:15, and it has definitely been challenging. Not having a lot of food in my body and not having a lot of water, and trying to kind of get these few pounds off. So there's a couple things. Well, first of all, I can tell you right now, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. No way I'm going to spend it working this hard and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So if you want to consider that motivation, when you consider whatever you want, but it's just true, And I think the challenge, well, right now I said it, effing sucks. I do think it builds a crap load of character because it's so easy to kind of just quit. Was actually watching a David Goggins video. If you don't know who David Goggins is, you check him out. He has a lot of motivational stuff. I don't like the fact that he drops an F-bomb every 2 seconds, but guy's had a lot of success, and he talks about that inner challenge, right? That being different than others and not being a follower, be your own person. And, I think that's a really critical message. Even as I'm kind of here doing this art trainer with 2 pairs of sweats on, try to burn these few pounds off. And I just simply say that it's kind of like the easiest thing to do is just to quit and say, oh, I actually just talked about that in the idea of failure. You're not a failure, build success. And this is kind of a perfect follow-up to it. And I'll say it, so I don't want to be a hypocrite, coming back on my words. If by some chance I did make weight, I would never consider myself to be a failure. It just, for whatever reason, didn't work. My planning or whatever it was.
And I would simply say, well, somebody said, well, you didn't make weight. And I said, well, maybe that's true, but I was busting my hump at 4 o'clock in the morning at the gym while you were sleeping. So again, it's not meant to be critical. It's just to say, like, don't be your own worst critic. Don't be your own worst critic. Be your best advocate. And again, if you have to get better, you get better. Take those baby steps along the way. But also, you really do need to kind of learn. I think that's such a critical message. No matter what happens, I know for me, I can have no problem saying that, I'm going to make weight one way or another. But it's been much more challenging than I was expecting it to be, which was another thing I talked about in the video about failure. Sometimes you don't realize how hard things are going to be because maybe the time before you had a much easier time. Like I said, last time it was much easier. And usually I am really meticulous about like the details. Normally I'm tracking everything, and I did track a lot of stuff. I did track everything, but the last competition I did, my starting weight was 161, and getting down those last couple pounds was not really that hard. It was a little bit of a pain, but it was doable. It didn't affect my performance at all. This time, I started about 3 to 3.5 pounds higher, and those 3 or 3.5 pounds is exactly the weight that I have to lose because they're heavier than what I was. So what I should have done is I should have started, planning out a little bit sooner to get that weight off, not necessarily thinking it would be just a walk in the park. But again, that's something where you kind of learn, figure things out and make adjustments. And, I don't know how my competition is going to go. We don't have a crystal ball. Hopefully it goes well. But whatever it is, you're always going to kind of learn from it, take something from it, and grow. Make sure you're planning. The other thing I wanted to mention is I was actually at the gym last night trying to shed off some of the weight. And then I went for a run, got home, and my adrenaline was through the roof. Because I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to do a little bit more. And while some of you might think that's like a bad thing, I really don't. I think it's a good thing. I think that means that, for me, I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenge and not willing to just kind of stop and give up and say, oh, I can't do this. And I hope that's a message that who's ever watching really gets. While maybe my approach was like effing stupid, especially for somebody who's trained most of their life, I should know better. But while I say that to myself, I also feel like, I'm embracing it, learning from it. I'll make sure that next time it doesn't happen this way. But my final few messages that I think are critical for everybody are, you really want to put yourself out there. I always one of my first videos I ever did for the channel was talking about a YouTube short about naysayers. Don't listen to the naysayers. And that is just so critical. That's another Goggins thing that he talks about. He's like, don't listen to the naysayers. There's always going to be people who are saying, oh, can't do this. It's not going to work. You can't do it. And look, they're entitled to their opinion. And you can choose not to listen. You hear what I said? You choose not to listen and chart your own path, which I think is a much better way. If people are going to give you advice, you want them to give you advice and listen and not be overly critical. You're not going to be able to do this. Instead, have people maybe give you some feedback that's positive and uplifting and not something that's going to beat you down. So I hope you liked the video. Hope you get something out of it. Obviously, any comments or suggestions are fine and great. I'll take them. Thank you again for all you do. Appreciate your support. I'll be back after I compete, and hopefully at the weight that I was striving for, and hopefully the results are good. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.